actual start of the podcast, and that's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Twitch is
It should
Twitch.
pop up in any second. There we go.
All right, beautiful.
1080p, 60 FPS. Even though it's EpicDuel,
Good
it doesn't
stuff.
really matter.
All right, I'm posting.
Thanks for the host.
Roman, you're AFK. You might get disconnected.
No, it's there's a 20-minute limit. It's fine. There you go.
20 minutes. That must have gone up. I remember when it used to be like 5 minutes. You would just disconnect all the time.
Yeah. It's significantly better now.
That's a crisp looking EpicDuel.
All
Thank
right. Here we go. I tweeted it. All right. So, I will start recording now, and we can go ahead and get started.
All right, beautiful. EpicDuel podcast is live. All right, so first, Roman, go through intros. Let's get to know everybody a little bit.
Okay. One second. Hey, Joseph, please do not talk. We are doing a podcast and a stream right now. Okay, Joseph? I don't know if he heard me. Anyway. All right, guys, we are live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today, we are... I am joined by a few people, and we are going to be doing a EpicDuel podcast. Now, this is a first for me, and I'm sure it's a first for some of the other people that are joining me. First things first, I am a Romanian master, well, better known as Romanian Master, Santa. I'm basically known as a guy who gives lots of gifts and codes, as you can see, all-time code leaderboard. I'm just kind of really well known.
If you could just pop up the all-time leaderboard, Fennec, there, and just show where Romanians are sitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a beast right here.
Yeah, there's not much else to know about me, but that's basically it. Onward to Xendran. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, so my name is Xendran. So I've been playing EpicDuel all the way since back in 2009. As you can see, I'm rocking some Founder armor and some classic gear. Got the Energy Bunny Zook and the Beta Blaster. Most notable thing that you might know me for is I'm the creator of the Heal Loop build that plagued EpicDuel for the better part of half a decade. I apologize for that, but it was inevitable. If I hadn't done it, somebody else like Daphne would have. And actually, we were going to do favorite builds. My favorite build in EpicDuel history was probably the Heal Loop, just because of how exploitative it was of the game mechanics. And it resulted in Field Medic being nerfed not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times before they got rid of it. And yeah, that's me.
All right. Next, we are going to be introducing Alexey Alexandris. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. I am Alexey Alexandris. I know that's hard to say for a lot of people. I've played since late 2009, but this account that I'm currently using as my main is a 2010 account. So basically since beta. My notable achievements in EpicDuel. You guys probably know me for dominating the Friesland War in 2016, gifting in 2016, codes, and basically 2016 was my prime. Did a lot in 2016. I also own the faction Divine Execution. I think of all of them as a family, and I think we're ranked 7th on the all-time 1v1 leaderboards. My favorite builds in EpicDuel history would probably be Simple Bounty Hunter Strength Massacre, late Delta with the Frost Weps, like all the little Christmas weapons that came out. I think it wasn't too overpowered, but it was a lot of fun to use.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a pretty good build.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have
All
Svinik
right.
here. Go
Oh,
ahead.
hey, what's up? So, basically, who I am, most people know me as Speed of Thunder from Delta, I guess. I used to be the guy who was like always on Juggernaut leaderboard as non-varium. I was also like the 4th level 34 when they released it. But yeah, most people think I'm a Delta player, but I've actually been playing EpicDuel since beta. I was actually a noob until basically Delta. Yeah. So yeah, I'm also the leader of Obliterate. I've been in this faction since like creation of this account. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. All right. That's really good. All right. So next, we are going to move on to the EpicDuel design notes, and we're going to kind of go on from there. So let's go ahead and over there. All right. So the EpicDuel design notes of November 21st, 2018, on the cusp of gifting. This is leading up to the gifting date that will happen on the 30th in approximately 9 days, according to my calendar there. More likely 8. So yeah. So let's go ahead and just through this, huh?
Yeah, so I think the most, obviously, the biggest thing people have been talking about lately is this whole custom item deal. So what I want to know is, everybody here, what would your custom item be? Not just the wish, but your actual. If you got first place, what would you make? And so I guess we'll start off, Roman. So you're going to be going pretty hard in gifting. You say you're not. Maybe you are. Maybe you aren't. We'll find out. If and or when you win first place, what is or would your custom item be? And
Oh, my
why?
custom item. Wow, you caught me kind of off guard here. I was mainly kind of going for a founder archetype build. Build. What am I saying? Build armor.
Founder
That would
build.
be my, yeah.
I mean, back in the
Yeah.
day, that was a good build. The founder armor build. You just put on founder armor and you win everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mainly wanted to get the founder armor, and I was actually thinking about asking for some very specific cores on it. I was thinking about maybe a double generator type thing like we earlier, because that'd be pretty awesome. Pretty broken to say the least. But hey, it's a
Double
wish.
generator.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be
What would
something.
Xendran, what would you pick?
So for my custom item, I'd want to make a bot with unique artwork because I'm going to go full custom on this one. And then for the cores, now it's kind of a toss up. And honestly, it would depend on the meta. Ideally, I'd like to collude with the person in first place to get a wish item plus their code and make something like a Carthrax Azrael bot where you have the energy Carthrax special as the main attack and the physical Azrael Borg shield destroyer thing as the second attack. It would basically just destroy every build because if they're playing defensive, then you just break their shields. And if they're playing aggressively, then you just get rid of their ability to do that. And then at the same time, it does a huge amount of damage, especially the Carthrax spec because it does 100%. Alternatively, you could do some broken things in 2v2 where you replace the Azrael with a pirate bot. So you could have a Carthrax pirate bot. Basically, just anything with bots because it's all broken.
I feel like that would be very broken indeed. Would be actually all right. Next we have Alexey. What would you choose?
I'd be going for more of a like custom design weapon, more than anything. I would like the sword. Sword could be whatever color, but I would like it to be like huge and royal, and like along the blade, it's spelled the last name Alexandris along the entire blade. For the cores on the
That'd be pretty
sword,
cool.
I am pretty positive that Night Wraith would not do this, but I would want Omega Override as the active core. And for the passive, I'm not entirely too sure. I was thinking, what's the core for
Why
the
not
Celtic
Massive
Cleaver?
Strike? Why not just go? Oh, yeah, I have that. It's 8% accuracy. Lucky Strike. I have that.
Lucky Strike, yes. Wait,
Okay.
the one that gives you the ability to almost guarantee a strike?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like
gives
on
plus
the-
8% accuracy. Yeah.
Yes, Celtic Cleaver has it.
Yeah. So I would like that as a passive core, or a Massive Strike as a passive core.
Now,
And
now here's the one. Would you want that? You could actually do the Celtic Cleaver 1 and the Omega Override on a pair of claws, and that would really be a buff to that Massacre build.
you see, that's I don't want to break the game too much. Because I unfortunately would also have to go against people using this unless I was mean and I didn't give out any codes. But I'm not like that.
I would not give out the codes until I quit, at which point I would sell them.
Right. Yeah, he never specified how long we'd be able to keep those codes. All right. So next we have Svinik
Hello.
for speed. All right, what would you choose?
If I had to pick like a custom built armor, it would be the one that I drew like a few days ago. It's like a Valkyrie skin from Fortnite. I know people don't like Fortnite, but like they
Oh, yeah.
actually make really good skins.
They do. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they do.
They do.
So I have like this illustration. It's not perfect. I just pull it up on the screen right now. So basically, this armor, but I want it to be like really polished, right, and like have the detail like the Founder armor. And basically, it's gonna
That'd
look
be pretty
really
cool.
nice. And yeah, it's that's
going
basically
to look really nice, you say. It's going to.
I hope it does. You know, I don't know if it's gonna look nice. It's just what I
So
think.
you hope that it looks. So what you're saying is this armor is going to be in the game.
I hope
So
so.
you're saying you're going for #1 gifting? Oh.
Hell no. You think I have that money?
Oh man.
If I had the option to, I would get that armor. But basically, I can't really think of anything else that I would get.
All right, that's a pretty nice wish there. All right, so let's. We actually asked you guys, the community, what would you guys wish if you won first place? And keep in mind, this was before Titan released the design notes stating the parameters of the wish. So keep in mind when you're reading this.
I just
So,
pulled up the tweet over here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the tweet. Right. So the question was asked: if you won first or top 10, what wish would you choose? Would it be found?
I'm down with this first one, man. I think this first wish is totally reasonable.
Oh, okay. Let's see. By Black Legend, right?
No, I think it's Whitebeard.
Oh, by Whitebeard. Okay.
Yeah, by Whitebeard. Yeah, this
that's
seems completely reasonable, and I would be for it.
Imagine
Oh, man.
Matrix. Just imagine Matrix.
All right. Oh, geez. Okay, I just found it. Okay, I will wish for.
Look at the likes it's got.
Oh, 11.
11.
I will wish for naked NPC females, full naked. That's for top 10 wish. But for top 1, which I will wish for naked NPC females, full naked too.
Totally agreeable.
Wow.
Okay.
I would agree.
That's a valid wish.
If they will do this, I agree. Let's do it.
I feel like Epic. Oh man, I don't know if I could show that. I posted a comment with a sword that resembles something.
You can link it in the Discord. I'll just
I
pull it
feel
up.
like EpicDuel will be providing two sorts of services here, just a gaming service, and then a service, that is provided on other websites. If you guys that are 18 and above, or 13 and above, kind of know what I'm referring to here.
But I don't think it's gonna be a thing since it's a family-friendly company.
Yeah, but that's definitely not going to happen though. But it's a nice thought though. It's the thought that counts.
I mean, EpicDuel's got some serious lacking in that whole department, to be quite honest.
Yeah, do you have any input on that, Alexey?
It's a no from me, dog.
All right then.
Moving on to the next one, I guess.
I don't know. You gotta see. This is what other games offer. Look at this. EpicDuel needs some of this.
All right, I'm gonna go with the very first one from Black Legend here. He simply says, "I'd wish for a founder armor. If the wish was strong enough, then I'd wish to fire Tufel and Nice Guy from the staff."
R.I.P.
Rip.
Yeah,
he has a lot of replies.
Shots fired.
He went straight for the jugular right there. He did not waste any time.
Just go in.
However, Night Wraith or Titan, he addressed this and he said, "Yeah, this is a very unrealistic wish. We are not going to be doing this. I'm sorry, not sorry, but yeah, it's not going to happen." But I like how you said founder armor, though. I really support that, and I will probably actually be doing the same thing because I love the founder, even though I don't have it, but I want to have it. So yeah. Do you guys have any thoughts?
It's the best looking armor in the game all around. Mages, mercenaries, hunters. It looks nice on all of them.
Oh, you want to just swap over to that EpicDuel window, give people a nice look at what founder armor looks like.
There it is, boys.
What they're in store for.
There we go. This is what I'm missing out right here.
There we go.
Oh man,
Xendran right there.
Yep. I sort of have something a little bit related to that, and that would be Delta Knight, but it barely compares to it.
I too have Delta Knight. I'd much rather have founders.
The sad one with just the pirate armor over here.
Well,
it's not bad either.
People have argued that's one of the best looking armors in the game. Like definitely top 5, they said, and I would agree. It's a really nice looking armor.
The rarity counts. I think it's more rare than the Delta Knight, if you ask me.
Yeah, because it was a war prize. Yeah, that definitely has a lot.
I wonder if anybody's gonna wish for one of the Rippers, because the Rippers look pretty good.
Oh yeah, they do as well. Yeah. If anything, I'd wish for the set for both of them. They're kind of a pair.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, they're kind of a pair.
Yeah.
Right. So, let's keep reading from the. We're gonna kind of skip over that whole argument between, Lonnie and the Legend right there. We're gonna just skip over that. Right. So we have a very.
AE says he'd wish to create at least one weapon of his own and distribute its codes without a limit. I don't think they're gonna let you do unlimited codes though. Night Wraith
then it would basically just be another code.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me edit?
I think that was Roman's brother.
That was my brother. 1 second.
I believe his brother said he wants edits.
He does. He is playing that Fortnite in the background. I told him to keep it down. Right. So Blitz has a pretty
next suggestion for a wish that we have.
All right. Alexey, do you want to read one?
I'll read my own.
Right. There we go.
Instead of mentioning one wish that I would want, I just threw a few basic things out there that I thought would be interesting. Yeah. The first one, the big one, I said a new phase, even if it's just in name and theme though. I don't know, just to give like a different feel of EpicDuel, because we log in, we've seen
I hear this
EpicDuel Omega for like the last 5-6 years, and I see all this blue and cyan and gray.
It might also help like new players come in and think like, oh, this is new. There's a lot of things has changed since Omega started.
So when I hear this, It reminds me of how Hearthstone has their zodiac year, where they have like Year of the Dragon, Year of the Rat, when they rotate their cards in and out, and then the theme of that year will change. So if Epic Duel had something like that, where we get out of the whole Alpha to Omega thing and just into an entirely new like set of themes, I think that could have the potential to encourage people. I don't know about actually playing the game, but at least get them to look at it and sort of bump up the visibility of the game again. There's some other things that would need to be addressed if they want to actually bring new players in, though, which I think is pretty important.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and of course, gameplay is always going to be important. No matter how good your layout looks, Epic Duel, gameplay is important. Yeah. I also said all current achievements maxed unlocked. I'm not sure if they would let somebody do this, but it'd be cool if they did. Free class changes for a year. I highly doubt they're going to let somebody do this again.
I don't think. I mean, that's a reasonable request. Like, you're spending a lot of money. I think that's pretty fair.
I would think so because it's for credits. Like, so
I would expect you to be able to buy a class, and then once you've bought it, it's unlocked, and you can just switch between it for a low cost, similar to a retrain. Let's say it costs
that's what I would prefer.
To unlock a class, but then it costs maybe 250 credits to swap.
Yeah, I also suggested a custom hairstyle, Infernal Slayer, because I believe that is the best looking sword in the game. Custom robot names. Maybe some people would like to hide their robot name in battle. I don't know. I would probably name my little pet robot.
I have a
don't
question.
know.
Why'd you pick
Little
Infernal?
Alexey.
Oh, imagine
Why'd
if we could
Slayer
have our robot follow us around like a pet. That would be so cool. If I could have my Gamma Bot just floating behind me, like when I move around, that'd be sweet. And Gladiator asks, in our opinion, how much variant would one need to make top 15?
Oh,
a lot.
A lot of
a lot.
I would say at least top 15. You want at least 150,000, maybe 200,000 if you want to get 15th place.
Yeah, I was gonna argue 200,000 myself.
Yeah, I could easily see 200.
Anything near $1,000, I would say.
If you're not putting at least 200,000, you have zero chance of being top 15, in my own opinion. There's too many people that have got 200,000 that I know of. So you need 200,000.
Definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
Alexey,
and there was
for your last
and there was and you had two other wishes right there at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I said a statue of someone else, just not me. And I also said to grant my friend a wish instead of me.
Did a 9th grade dress stand with the latest design notes?
I was just about to.
Not allowed to be nice.
Person? Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that. Basically, everything that you said here was basically addressed in the design notes, and made me think that he was actually keeping a close eye on this tweet of mine, and especially yours. Or Titan was, because Titan was the one who wrote it. All right.
I love how it says you can't wish for Epic Duel source code. I wonder who asked for that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh my.
That's the kind of thing I would do. I'd be like, yo, you want to just give me the source code to your game? Like, no big deal. I'm definitely not going to do anything with that.
That would not be too bad of a
You can probably resell it to someone else. I don't know. Is that a thing?
No, dude, you could use it to do all kinds of nasty things to this game. I doubt the security is that much better that source code wouldn't allow you to really mess with it. That'd be pretty bad if somebody had that.
Hey, Sphenik, do you wanna read something from one of them?
People have been asking for the pirate captain armor. That's reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I saw the Cyber Shadow. He was asking for it. I remember he was when I had it equipped, he kept saying, "Man, I am so jealous that you have that armor. That is my favorite armor in the game." So I can see why he'd wish for that.
Also, someone really said,
I see somebody wants passives back.
Oh man, I saw that. Yeah. One of the best I would say is by Ozzy here. He said, "I would wish for a refund." So you'd get all the gifts, you'd get all the gifts, all the credits and everything, and just get the whole money back and win. Oh man!
I
That's
mean,
the
I
best
don't
way to
believe
do
that
it.
was addressed in the design notes. Oh, yes, it is refunds.
Yep.
Refunds.
Number 2.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
someone said they
yeah, it's
wanted
okay.
an advertisement kickstart to make Edie come back to life again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to do anything because the
Yeah, that's
game
not
is
gonna
too broken for new players to get them to stay. There's a reason everybody is either level 40 or just about level 40. Because there's not very many people who aren't. And the people who are, it's because they have somebody who's telling them what to do to get to level 40 as fast as possible.
Now, before we shift gears, now that we know all of the restrictions from the design notes, do any of you guys think that it is worth going for top 15? Keeping in mind that you were going to
because of the
probably
bots.
spend 1,000.
I would say
Yes,
no.
because those bots are broken. Anybody who can afford it to get their hands on one of those bots, if that amount of money doesn't matter to you, then you break the game so much by doing that. Like those bots would be ridiculous. So it just depends on whether you can justify blowing the cash. If you can, then yeah, it's worth it because you'll be stronger than everybody else.
Only
I
20 of them
completely
would
agree.
exist. Only 20 bots would exist. Well, aside from yours, so 21.
Actually, potentially only one, because if the person who's second is the only person who wishes for this bot, and number 1 gets something completely random as their codes, and everybody else gets some other random stuff, it could be as little as one person who has a bot like that.
Right.
It could be all of them, but it could be as low as one, because that bot qualifies as a wish, not a custom item.
Right.
I would also say I would disagree and say that it is not worth spending that much money on this game. I mean,
I don't think it's worth spending that much. I just think that technically the value you get would make you stronger. I would never do it.
Exactly. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it if I had the money either. But for the person who does have the money and they want to spend it on this game, then this is where you would spend it, because it's how you're going to get the best amount of power for your money.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. The year I went hard, I spent, what was it, $800 for a Yeti.
Wow.
That was my my little gifting prize. Nice looking Yeti though, but
you're not the only one there. Or do you want to put it on for us
Yeah,
so
Alexey,
we can have a
how
look at
often
it?
do you even use it?
Yeah, here's the Yeti.
Oh,
It's
here
a
we go,
nice
boys.
looking Yeti, okay? Platinum Battle Yeti, that's the name.
Oh man,
Platinum Battle Yeti.
So it's a pretty looking Yeti. It's got armor on it. The armor color you cannot change, so it's always going to be that blue. But the rest of the Yeti's customizable like any other Yeti. And it looks good, but in my opinion, just wasn't really worth the $800 that I had spent that year.
Can't beat this.
It's literally just the other Yeti with a little piece of armor on it.
And there's Romanian in his.
You're not the only one who got top 10 that year.
Yes, sir.
I'll just walk right in here with the founder armor. Oh yeah.
It was a fun year though. Like, don't get me wrong. I would I don't know if I would gift that much again, but
I'd say it was one of the peak I would have ever experienced in
Xendran,
my whole time playing EpicDuel.
Yeah, man. The whole
community.
Xendran has the thing everyone wants for a wish. He's already got his wish.
You don't have to wish.
Founder armor and Screaming Eagle. Weapons, Bunny Zookas. Whew.
He's got them all.
R.I.P.
He's the man with the items there. All right, so I think it's time to shift gears over to the rest of the design notes here. Yeah,
let's do it.
So let's take a look at these new concept items made by Charfade.
Do you have a link for it?
It's on the design notes. It's literally if you scroll down just a tiny bit, it's right there.
The Omega Wolf Pack.
Yes, the Omega Wolf Pack. Let's read what he wrote about it. He said, the image above only represents concepts, and the package may not include all the items, or they may differ from the final versions. We'll publish the final versions as soon as they're ready. And then it just gives thanks to Charfade.
I think KnifeIt also posted this on Twitter, I think, earlier this week.
Oh yeah, and they called it the Wolf Pack above the picture here. So that should be pretty interesting. I'm looking.
So I know at least two of you. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the most interesting thing that I see out of all of these would definitely have to be the bike. I am just a sucker for those bikes. But sorry,
it is pretty nice looking.
If they like make it really
not ridiculous,
icy,
which is
it
good.
would look really nice.
They should make ice come out as like its skid marks. Like Screaming Eagle has like sparks that come out. So with this, they could do like an ice version of that.
Right. Yes.
Sweet. It, like skids across the ground.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat, actually. Yeah, I can see that. Alexey, what do you say is the?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Cut out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, what do you consider the most interesting out of all these concept arts?
I have my eye on, I think that is a mall. It's like to the top middle right.
I see that.
It's like the biggest one. I don't know what that is. I think that's a mall though. That looks beautiful.
That's giant.
Yeah.
I think the one that's obscenely big is the mall, and the one to the right of that is a staff, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like it's a staff.
Yep.
Yeah, so I kind of like the faces that they put on it too. The wolf heads.
It's actually really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the claws a lot better. They just look nice.
That maul is like the anime girl equivalent for weapons, where it's like the blade is like twice as big as the handle.
Jeez.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's more like 3 times the size of it.
Yeah.
I do have one issue with this though, and it's not a very big one. But it ties back into what I said earlier about how the phase has been the same for like the last 5-6 years, and how I said it's been blue. Like you log in and EpicDuel Omega, it's just all blue, and all your weapons are blue. Even the physicals are blue.
Your name is blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
So I mean, like, while this is amazing art, you know, like, what if we had another phase, not even like another phase, but just like another theme, I guess, of the game, sort of like how beta was
the
like
original
gold and red.
Had red too.
Yeah,
Omega was originally blue and red, and then they just made it blue.
Delta was like purple, I think.
Yeah, Delta was purple.
Like I have the Omega.
Gamma was green.
The Omega Onslaughter is red.
Yeah, the physicals of those weapons are red, but I mean just like the theme of the game and like total, like it's just a lot of
they had done
blue.
More.
And blue's a good color, but I mean,
interesting. Now,
Bleachify said it would be cool that if the bike was a morph instead of a, or if there was a wolf morph in the game instead.
Ooh,
that'd be pretty cool.
I think I like that.
I don't know. I kind of disagree on that one. We've recently come across a lot of morphs in the games. However, they haven't really been like animals per se. They've mainly been vehicles. So you can just basically turn into a car all you want. As you guys
Meanwhile,
can see
everybody here is a Yeti.
or a Yeti per se. They released a whole bunch of cars over there at Fortune City, and I bought them all. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm a collector. And I was just getting kind of tired of seeing all these vehicles and cars, and I'm like, what happened to the days when you're visible on a bike. Like, what happened those days? Now you're just kind of transformed into this vehicle.
Basically, whoever has the bigger vehicle basically gets
Like,
noticed more.
You can't even see yourself in
Founder
the window
armor
or
is bigger than
anything.
half of the cars. Or sorry, founder bike. This thing is
It's true.
bigger than the Gamma bike. It's bigger than your car. It's ridiculous.
So I feel like that bike would be a pretty good idea, but that's just my view on it.
We do have a lot of morphs. I can agree with that.
Right. You guys want to move?
Now,
What do you guys think? I know at least two of you think the skill core is going to be busted. What speculation do we have on what the cores might be that are in these weapons?
that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
My prediction is that it's going to be some type of slowdown core, like a sort of debuff that would slow down or impede your opponent's ability to use their most powerful skills or weapons per se. Sort of like a pyrofly, but a little bit more broken than that, actually. That's just
now
my
something
guess
that
on
could
it.
potentially be more broken than Pyrofly. It would depend on the type of builds, but you could punish a lot of the builds that are countering the really simple builds right now with a core that just increases the cooldown of all of their cooldowning skills by 1. So if I use Plasma Cannon and then I heal and then you use that, suddenly I have to wait an extra turn on both of those.
Exactly.
So if I Plasma Cannon, then I shield, then I heal, then I have to wait another turn for all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it would basically slow people down, but it wouldn't stop their plan from happening. It would just prevent them from doing it again. But this could also be useful for countering things like Massacre, because once they Massacre, if they can't do it a second time for 4 turns, they're not going to get to do it again.
Yeah.
So they have to
they're
change
just
their game
done.
plan.
Now, Scenic, what do you think?
I honestly don't know. Not really
You
good with
don't know?
cores, but I mean,
All right.
if it's a really busted core, I'd wanted something. I wanted it to be able to do something like a passive would be able to do. Like, so it would just activate itself like in the beginning of a game, and basically you can use it the whole game.
Well, remember, these could have both a passive and an active core, because the original
It's
Omega
true.
weapons have a passive and an active.
So they might draw inspiration from the. Alexey, your turn.
I'm getting a strong energy vibe from these weapons. I don't
It's
know what the
blue.
core is going to be. No, it's blue, but look into the mouth of the wolf on all the weapons and all the concept art and just see that deep cyan. I don't know. It just looks very. The core is gonna have
Like
something
it's
to
gonna
do with
absorb your energy.
I have no clue. That's just like my first take on it. And then again, it's all wolf gear, and wolves, use brute strength. I love strength builds, so if it's something that enhances strength builds, I'm all for it.
You mean wolves that pack hunt to like compensate for their lack of brute strength? Use brute strength? Just saying.
I mean, they're still kind of strong.
Yeah.
They are pretty strong, but I think of brute strength, I would think of like a bear or like a hog.
Now, the real question is, once they do release this set, are you going to buy it?
Nope.
Yep.
Not unless I can get it for credits.
I'll only buy it if the core is broken.
Well, I think you're going to buy it regardless.
I mean, I didn't buy this ghoulish set.
You didn't? The core is broken.
I don't see the use in it. I mean, like I don't know. I don't see the use in it.
It beats blood mages. That's the use.
It's true. It does. This set is heavily focused on energy right here. The ghoulish gear, just the manipulation of the energy. So I think that's why it's a really good package, because energy is a main aspect of EpicDuel, and if you can easily manipulate that, then you've basically got the game in your hands. So that's why I considered it to be a very, very good.
Yeah,
weapon.
a lot of people consider it to be one of the best promos we've had in a while. I also do still consider it one of the best promos we've had. I personally have not found use for it though. I use
I
only
agree.
strength builds. I don't really use my auxiliary. Like if I'm using my aux, I'm trying to hurt you with it, so I'm not gonna take your energy.
Right, yeah, it doesn't have much use in a strength build.
The new weapons, basically, what I think is that they're more for people who are like very strategic, right? But the meta currently is like more of like a strength and very stale kind of build, so it doesn't really help very much.
Yes, I
I
definitely.
I could see the benefit in having it, but what I kind of like actually is that it competes with the Azrael Aux core, and you have two actually good effects where it's not a no-brainer. It's not just like, oh, this is obviously better than the Azrael Aux, because the Azrael Aux core gets through shields and things that like a Cyber Hunter can't deal with a shield unless they have that Aux, right?
Mhm.
So, but then a 5 focus Cyber Hunter might not need to deal with a shield because they actually have a versatile way of dealing physical damage, whereas the Massacre build just can't deal physical damage. It's just not a thing they have the ability to do.
Unless you have
Whereas
the
the
Azrael
5 focus
bot.
Cyber Hunter, no, but you're not dealing physical damage there. You're just you're just getting rid of the shields so that you can compensate for your inability to deal physical damage.
Without
That's what
the
bot
aux,
does.
though, I'm saying like without the Azrael aux, so I could just spam it, and then I can do my damage.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
not
that's my
everybody has
point.
that
Like, it's
bot.
not a no-brainer either way. Yeah, it's not a no-brainer either way because it depends on which bots you have, or even if you have them all, then it really starts to depend on who you're fighting as to whether, because I guarantee you there will be times where you actually want the Azrael Ox and a different bot, but it depends on who's online, right?
Mhm. There has been times when I the Azrael um, uh, ability from the auxiliary, and I just didn't have it, and it cost me the game. So I can definitely see the
It
appeal.
really,
of
yeah,
that.
because
It'd be these
it
strength
basically
tacticals.
depends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd
like
love
because
to
the
use
bot and the Ox are
Carthrax.
both very, very good.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, because Carthrax against Strength TLM is really good, and then that would be your reason to have the Azrael Ox and then the Carthrax
Yep,
bot instead of the
because
Azrael bot and then the Energy Ox.
my bot's useless against them. So
Yeah.
You guys want to move into the calendar classes or the armors?
Or I was actually gonna start to talk about the new treasure hunters.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing.
And the change regarding that. We were gonna talk about that last, I believe, or close to the end. So, as you guys know, there has been a very huge update, well, quote unquote huge, to the inventory rarity leaderboard. As whereas previously it counted every single weapon or item or anything in your inventory that had rarity towards your total inventory rarity. Now it's been changed to where it's only no duplicate items are allowed. It's only one of those items is gets the rarity. So you may have 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 spectral auxiliaries. However, only one will be counted towards the actual rarity. I've actually tested
that only
this.
happened like 8 years too late.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that was ever that way in the first place. Like, that makes no sense. That's just one of those things where you look at the game and you're just like, what? Like, how does this happen?
How does this go on for this long? Oh my lord. Right. So the people who were on the leaderboard originally got the let me pull up the achievement here. They got the epic legendary collector I believe if they were above 1 million rarity. I'm very uncertain about this because I was second at the time, only passed by Barnacus because I had sold all my items, but I would have passed them. Do not worry, I would have passed them. But everybody who participated in that leaderboard originally, they got this achievement as sort of saying, hey, sorry, here you go. This is a sorry gift, essentially. And I'm happy for this because this is basically a free 10k, rarity for me, and I really do appreciate it because I worked really hard to get to that second place leaderboard or first for the longest time.
It also boosted up your player ratings.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot.
massively.
You know what's interesting to me about this is that I find it strange that they make this collector achievement an ultra rare, but the enhancement achievements are not. They're regular rares, even though they're worth quite a lot. Like I have legendary enhancer, and it's just a rare, but it's also worth 5,000.
Well, the reason why
That
they
seems
made
weird.
it ultra rare is because it's not possible to get anymore. However, rare is
It's not possible to get legendary enhancer anymore either.
It's true.
You
Yeah,
can't
you're
enhance
right.
weapons. That system is completely. Actually, a lot of these are removed. So a good example is flag captured. Flag captures aren't in the game anymore. It's impossible to get. Warlord, daily war kills, that's not in the game anymore. It's impossible to get. And these aren't like event things either. These were systems that were in the game, planned to be permanent, and then they were removed. So it just seems kind of arbitrary whether or not it becomes ultra rare. And it's not even based on the value because, like I said, the legendary enhancers were 5,000, which is quite a lot.
Right.
So I'm wondering what actually is the criteria for ultra rare.
I believe we should just read what Titan wrote. Would anyone like to read what he wrote on the design notes about the new treasure hunters?
So new treasure
Yeah.
hunter. So what it just says, as mentioned last week, we've cleared the old rarity point leaderboard to make way for a new system with a new calculation that excludes duplicate items. So basically, those who had at least 100,000 rarity points on the old board, you're going to get a collector achievement. And as you can see here, it bases it off of how many points you had. So, for example, I only have 144,000, whereas Roman is sitting at max rank. Looks like Fennec is a little bit higher than me. So that's a tiered
both got the
achievement.
same achievement anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so those participating in the new board, and that all looks like it's probably started today, you're going to receive an evolving achievement called Archivist. And you'll actually have to visit Sharpade to get your gear appraised in order to participate. So anybody who wants to be on the leaderboard from this update, go get your gear appraised because until you do that, you're actually not going to be on the leaderboard, even if you should be.
The thing I
So the
don't
climb on the new
understand,
board is going to require a wide range of gears.
why make it an ultra rare achievement though?
I
The
don't
new
know.
one. Like that
It's just-
doesn't make sense to me.
I have no idea.
Well, the new one, I thought it's just rare. It's not ultra rare.
No, it's in the ultra rare
It's
section.
ultra rare.
Oh,
rare.
because that's actually not a bad point to make. Where would you actually put it if you were to put
It
it?
should be in general, like everything else, like legendary ranks and the other stuff.
Actually,
Enhancements, war kills, etc. Those are all in general. If
I
this is an ultra
agree
rare,
with
then
you.
I would be. I think legend. If this is going to be ultra rare, then they should make legendary enhancer ultra rare as well.
Yeah, all the achievements I have are ultra rare. But the only one that's not ultra rare is the actual archivist achievement. But yes, actually, go ahead and go appraise all your things, or you will not show up on the leaderboard whatsoever. Yeah. Those.
Now,
And do
here's
you want to
actually
keep
something
reading?
I'm curious about.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of achievements, actually, quickly, do we think they're going to introduce an Omega Wolf achievement? And then, if they do you think they're going to increase all of the old phase achievements again? Because Founder is sitting all the way up at 7,500 now. Do we think it goes to 8,000 after Omega Wolf comes out?
Probably not. I believe it's somewhat capped at the moment. It's had its quote unquote buff in rarity, and it's not going to get another
It's been
buff in
buffed,
probably
like-
another couple of years.
Yeah, it's been buffed like 3 times now. I remember it was originally, 5,500. Then it
Mm-hmm.
went to 65 and then 75.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Xendran, do you want to keep reading?
Yeah, we didn't quite finish reading everything.
No, we got through it. I said it requires a wide range of gear instead of a bunch of copies. After that, it's just the wish part.
Oh, right. So he actually gave a little example here. He says, remember to climb the new board will require you possessing a wide range of rare, not just 100 copies of one. He's implying a weapon or any item. He says, good luck and happy hunting, referring to the achievement. Currently, we are looking at... oh, would you look at that? Me being first place in the inventory rarity. The way I
No
said that.
surprise.
Oh, thank you.
We
thank
already
you.
introduced that, but go on.
Oh,
Yeah,
but where's your founder armor though?
Exactly.
Shut up.
Rest in peace.
It says 772,000 there, but I am currently sitting at 836,000 out of 850, so I'm getting pretty close to maxing it out. I believe it's out of 1 million. I'm not sure. So when
Mine's probably
the
so low because I sold all my gear.
have you not appraised yet?
Nope.
Oh man.
R.I.P.
Yep, the biggest RIP. All right, so we are now going to move on towards a little bit of a different subject. The much awaited 2019 Hero Mart calendar. There's quite a bit of.
Can somebody link me that? I literally have not heard a thing about this.
Oh man. Would someone mind doing that, please?
I just did. In the main chat.
All right, perfect. I'll actually go ahead
My
and visit
rarity
this
score is
show.
88,000 because I sold all my gear.
Oh, by
Like,
the
I
way,
don't
on
even
the
have my
screen,
Delta
that's
armor
the
anymore.
new. Those are the new armors that are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are straight out of Adventure Quest Worlds.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can tell.
and I'm sure someone at the EpicDuel headquarters were like, "Hey, could we get some of those, please? Because normally it's all just been for Adventure Quest Worlds.
Have you seen the
EpicDuel has just
Dragon
been
Fable armors?
neglected.
They look so much better.
The Dragon Fable armor.
Yeah.
Let me see which one is that. Is that the first one?
This
Second?
one, the one I
First
just
one?
pulled up.
Oh man.
I like the weapon, but I don't like how they've overwritten Epic Duel's art style, especially the proportions of the characters. They've used the armor and they've bulked it up to the point where the proportions now match that of an AQW character. But Epic Duel is supposed to have more realistically proportioned characters, and all the armors that exist in the game so far adhere to that. Whereas this one
Right.
overrides it by making it so big that they can then just apply whatever proportions they want because it doesn't
Now-
matter anymore. And so that's why you end up with that really tiny head.
You guys check out the main chat really quick. I actually linked Tufel's or Bomb's tweet regarding that armor. He was able to get his hands on it since he is lead tester. That's what it looks like in game. Now, keep in mind there are different hairstyles that would probably better fit that armor. More larger hairstyles. Wow, that was quite loud. That would better fit that armor because it does look like it has a very tiny head compared to the rest of its body.
But honestly, like, let's be honest, it's not a pretty looking armor.
It's not.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't
In
think
game, it
fits
does
in
not look
game.
good.
Now, boys, listen here. I actually pre-ordered the darn thing because I'm a collector, so you guys will be able to see it live in action when it does come out, and I will make a video on it.
Just because
So-
you pre-ordered it doesn't mean you have to wear it.
That's right.
That's
That's right. But in the actual Hero Mart website, they actually make it look not that bad. I'm pretty sure that's the HD versions of it, which we will probably not get, because I play on the low quality because, Epic Duel is just has
Because it's a
Really?
Flash game and Flash is
Yeah,
terrible. That's why.
it's Flash. Yeah.
I really
Anyway,
wish they made it. You know how? Did you see what the AQ3D armors look like? How they
Mhm.
only had like the shoulder pads and there's no like nothing for the breastplate, and there's
Right.
like bare chest. I think it would have been better if they did that. Just looks a
yeah,
lot cooler.
just a bit. Yeah, definitely. Now, I think the most underwhelming thing out of all of these would have to be the sword For me,
It
at
looks
least,
really basic.
it looks
Yeah,
very
it's
basic.
plain.
I kind of like it. I don't think it's like anything crazy, but I mean it's solid. I wouldn't
When-
spend a bunch of money on it or anything, but I could imagine it just being like a random item in the game.
All right, so if you're taking a look at the shop and you're taking a look at the right image right by the EpicDuel, you can see that the actual armor has a bunch of clocks on it, big clocks, like right by the
Big black
collarbone there.
clocks.
Exactly, right there. And now when you take a look at the sword, it has like one little clock right there by the handle, and one little sand clock type thing. I forgot what those are called.
Hourglass.
But hourglass, precisely. I'm not good at remembering those types of things. So when I'm buying something, I kind of want to buy something really large and something really crazy. That's what I'm kind of expecting. But to be realistic though, to EpicDuel's art style, I feel like this is a bit too large, and I'm wondering if we are actually going to get the same art style, like for the you guys see the hairstyle there? That actually doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
For-
kind of like the hairstyle.
At least for yeah. But I believe the board should get a rework. Just in my opinion.
Have you seen the Corner Blade 2017? It's also a time
Mhm.
game. It looks so much
Yeah.
better than this trash.
Do you guys want to see a really cool bug? Well, it's
What
not
is
really
it?
a bug, it's more of a typo. So if you guys look at where it says corrupted chronomancer armor with 2 physical and energy cluster swords in EpicDuel, not EpicDuel. They misspelled EpicDuel.
Oh, I see.
Rest in peace. I
Yeah,
see
right
it.
there. Yeah. They kind of forgot how to spell it because they don't really pay attention to this game
I
anymore.
haven't paid attention to the game in 4 years.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I actually pre-ordered it for myself and Santa's Queen. Anyway, so I actually look forward to that coming out and seeing what it looks like for myself. I know we have the tweet right there to prove what it looks like. Yeah, but I mean, for all we know, the sword could have a really nice animation. Maybe it could have anime. That'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So we shouldn't just judge it by the cover, just quite yet. But it is pretty underwhelming just by the cover.
That's literally exactly what you should do because it's a cosmetic element.
Exactly. Oh man. Right. Do we have any other notes before wrapping up?
Let's see.
We should go through the current meta and the builds that are happening right now.
Yes. I believe
So
one of
at
the
the moment, let's just find out. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the best people to talk about that is yourself and actually Alexey himself, because he's always on the one leaderboard, so he probably knows a lot about the meta.
I haven't
So,
played in 4 months, so I don't really know much.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the current
Well,
meta is
first, just what battle modes is everybody playing, and what builds are we on? First of all, just so we can get an idea of who's sitting where. So, Alexey, what have you been playing?
Right now,
I've been playing a lot of 1v1. I don't really play much else. I tried to play Jug a few days ago, but I could not get into it and
Too
returned to
boring.
1v1. Yeah, so that's my forte. That's what everybody knows me for.
Right.
What about the rest of you?
I've also
what
been
build have
playing.
you been playing in 1v1?
Oh,
a build
Go
that
ahead.
I beat.
Earlier today, I was trying to make a Blood Mage strength build work. It did not work.
No,
So
it
I
doesn't
went
work at
back.
all. It's so bad.
Yeah, I went back to the Cyber Hunter Massacre build. 1300 HP, 995 energy. just your basic cyber mass, but it's really my weapons that kind of set me apart from
Frost
a lot of
Bane.
other cyber hunters.
The Frost
And
Bane.
also that robot as well.
The Frostbane is just
Yeah.
for looks.
Exactly.
Alexey's been going with the Omega weapons. So tell us a
Yep.
bit about your choice of weapons and what makes it different and or better.
Well, most cyber hunters don't have Omega weapons, so they go for straight damage like Bloodhawk or Frozen Fury, something like that, like as a finisher. But I went with Omega weapons because I see it as a double debuff toward tech users. I'll malfunction you, and maybe you'll pop a shield or something. I'll use my Azrael Borg. Okay, now you have no shield and you're malfunctioned. And on top of my negative, probably like 40 something technology I'm doing to you, now I'm hitting you with the Omega core. I forgot the name of the core. That's probably another like minus 40, minus 50.
Oh no, that's
depending
a bit
on how
much.
much technology you have.
Omega override.
I will real like it'll sometimes be negative 100 technology depending on how much tech that person has spammed.
It's
and
really
at that
effective
point-
against
People don't
tank
realize.
players.
Yeah, at that point,
Yeah,
like
something people don't
I
realize
can do
is this is
whatever
one
I
of the
want.
reasons the build has high energy. This is why the build has high energy, so you can abuse whatever you want, and it doesn't matter what the opponent does. I see so many cyber hunters get real conservative with their energy, and it's like, no, the reason you have 1,000 is so you can spend it, not so you can sit
Yep.
there and have it all get stolen from you.
Exactly.
Right. So, is that the why? Is that the reason why you're using the Omega weapons?
Strictly for the double debuff. Yeah. Because I can do however much damage I want to at that point.
Fair enough.
A lot of people seem afraid to deviate from the +6 strength core, but the thing is, you really need Omega Override in the situations where you do need it, and in every other situation, you really don't need the +6 strength because you're going to win anyways. So you might as well sacrifice that literally nothing against all the other matchups, but now you can actually beat technology builds, whereas before
And
you
plus,
just can't.
if you think about it, that's giving you higher than +6 strength, because that +6 strength or +6 strength, that's a tongue twister, by the way. That's only giving you like what, maybe around like 8 damage, 9 damage,
12 damage?
tops.
Probably 12.
Yeah, so,
12 max.
I don't know if it would go up by 2 every time, but even if it were 12 damage, even if it were +12,
Still not that good.
not that good compared to -40 technology.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right.
Personally, I never really liked using any cores, like the buffer cores especially.
All right. Roman, what have you been playing? What battle modes and what builds are you using and why?
So I actually switched to Blood Mage about 3 weeks ago. Well, close to 3 weeks. And
Any particular reason for that one?
At first it was because of you. I had actually played Blood Mage before with 3 focus, 2 focus, and just no focus at all. And it was actually very fun. I made a few videos about it, and it encouraged a lot of people to come back to it. However, this was about 4 months ago, and I kind of lost that passion for Blood Mage, so I switched to a quote unquote powerful class. And but I've actually switched back, and I've kind of gone back into it, and it's a bit hard to find that perfect balance between how much energy, health, and then actually level of skill in terms of your abilities, like level 5 supercharge, level 7 supercharge, whatever you may choose, or even plasma cannon. But a very surprising thing that I found is that a level 1 plasma cannon is just as effective as like almost a level 4 or 5 if you happen to have
it only increases by 15 damage.
Well, in that, and if you have the massive strike core, on your sword or weapon or staff, it doesn't really matter because it ignores also 10% of their defense. So that's one
15.
thing. Yeah. Oh, was it 15? I believe it was.
Ridiculous.
20.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought it was-
15%. Yeah, 15%.
So
I
to
thought
sort
it
of put
was-
this in perspective for people as to how good that defense ignore is, your average tank build has around 450 resistance, for example. 15% of that, hold on, so 450 times 0.15, it's an extra 67 damage. That's a lot,
I
right?
thought
That's an
no,
extra.
that's weird. It says 10% here. It says your critical strikes ignore an extra 10% of your target's defenses.
Oh, you're talking about massive strike. I thought you were talking about the base ignore on plasma cannon itself.
Wait, do they add
Oh
up? Though?
no, they do add up. They stack, I
So
believe.
that's 25%.
That's the reason
Yeah,
why.
it totals to 25%.
So it just
So
it
like,
ignores
if you take that,
quite a bit.
so you would ignore what 50% or so from the rage, 25% from your core and the skill itself. So at the end of the day, you're ignoring 75% of their resistances if you get the crit on it, and then if you get rage on it, you're basically ignoring all their resist. If you get a rage crit with massive strike, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
over.
it's
You're gonna deal
basically over
so
here.
much damage.
And with a level 1, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I've actually tried using a poison build with Blood Mage with the bot in terms of poison, the main source of poison actually, and that's worked out really well for really tanky builds. But you get hard countered by strength builds. Well, that's what I've found thus far. So I've kind of switched back since to Carthrax, and I'm kind of debating on whether or not I should be Focus 1 or Focus 2, Focus 3. I haven't really found that
Yeah, I
fine
know how you
line yet.
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know
bit
exactly
hard
how
to
you
find.
feel with that one.
And
I
sometimes
think so.
I was going to say the energy pair is sometimes very underwhelming. And I'm like, wow, I
It's
really
very
wish.
underwhelming. Yeah.
Sometimes I wish for spontaneous energy, and I just don't have it, you know? So that's why it's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
And yourself, because I don't think Sphenic has been playing any battles.
Well,
No.
I did. I mean, as far as battles go, recently I've just been doing the called missions that came out during the past 4 months, right? And it's been
Mhm.
super hard because these new nightmare bosses are really, really hard. So I've been trying to like test out different builds and stuff. That's why I'm a
Mhm.
tactical mercenary. I was trying to beat Night Wraith like earlier tonight. But yeah. And as far as like PvP goes, I've been doing 2v2s recently. Like I really want that 2v2 daily. And I was gonna go for like daily tonight. But I kept losing due to like me being a higher rank, and I always I always got matched up with like really low rank players who weren't like they didn't even know what they were doing, and Xendran knows really well because
Yeah.
the one match was really crazy. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
2v2 is kind of messed up that way. And
So
1v1 I'm
basically,
just
to summarize
yeah.
that match, I was at low health, and his partner attacked my partner instead of me. And then when it turned into a 1v1, my partner was against a strength guy with an energy weapon, and my partner used defense matrix. I have no I have no words.
This is why I stick to 1v1.
Exactly.
So that's why in between those battles I was doing 1v1s, and pretty fun. I like it. So yeah,
Man, one thing that I've kind of found is that 5 focus or 4 focus bounty hunter has been really shining quite a bit, in my opinion.
Yes,
I don't know
it's
about you
yeah, I
guys.
very
tried 4
strong.
focus tonight, but it
It's
didn't work out very well.
I think 5 focus hunter is the build to beat. If your build can already handle cyber mass, if you can handle 5 focus hunter, you're good to go, because those are I was tracking my wins, and those are by far the most popular builds. Although the blood mage build has been getting a lot more popular lately, but if you can beat those 2 builds, you basically have the meta beat, and that's one of the reasons blood mage is good right now, because it can beat both of those builds. I'll sort of go through what I've been doing here. So I've been doing 1v1 just like Roman and Alexey here. I'm also on the blood mage train. what happened was I came to the game and I was obviously a tech mage because I always default back to that, and I just couldn't make tech mage work. I knew that I could do it if I was willing to grind out people in super long games with like a tank build, similar to what Elusive has. He has 1200 HP with 450 resistant defense.
Oh
I
man.
didn't really, I just wasn't really feeling it. I felt like it had some really bad matchups because I'm only rank 5. So I sort of took a look and I basically said, well, what can do what I'm doing but better? So I was using level 1 Plasma Bolt. So I look at Plasma Cannon. It's just objectively better. It also ignores resist. It has huge base damage. It has huge crit chance. So just replace that. The shield swapping around, Reflex Boost is better than Technician in this case, because the only time I'm using Technician is because my technology has been lowered. So I'm never going to get extra damage out of it. Whereas if I get smoked and then I Reflex Boost, I'm going to be able to get that block chance back. I'm going to get that extra turn of high block. I'm going to get that one turn where I'm not smoked, but I'm still reflex, where I can use a really strong sidearm hit, which is actually quite powerful. I think people really overlook that aspect of reflex boost and it lasting one turn longer. I went through a lot. I was originally using a sword. I went through a lot of changes. I've tried all of the levels of focus, and right now I'm sitting on a staff with level 1 supercharge, level 1 intimidate, level 1 plasma cannon, because those skills scale really, really poorly when you increase their level. They just cost so much more than you get back. But at level 1, you can just use them over and over again. And people will try and take your energy, but they just can't get you below like 130 energy consistently unless they waste time doing all of that, at which point you're just hammering them with your bot and your sidearm and your ops.
Xendran, how do you
Now,
justify your level 5 Overlord?
Level 5 Overload and level 5 Fireball gives me 1, 2, 3, 5 skills that are eligible for Pyrofly. So if you Pyrofly me, you only have a 1 in 5 chance to hit Energy Parasite, and that's the only skill that I care about you getting. Unless you're playing... Okay, the exception is if a 5 Focus Hunter Pyroflies away my Reflex boost, then it's an automatic lose. But I think 5 Focus Hunters should be using better bots than Pyrofly, to be quite honest, instead of relying on a 1 in 5 chance to win the match. But yeah, that's why I have so many skills at 5, and then the other 2 are max. Because that way, like, what if they take my Fireball? Like, I was never going to use that. So it's the Pyrofly.
You should have went for a level 5 Plasma Rain instead of Overlord.
There's not enough points for that.
I mean, you could have taken one from Energy Shield.
I need it on Energy Shield. If I lower my Energy Shield, I'll start losing against Cyber Hunters.
Yep.
Makes sense.
It's true.
The shield needs to be at level 3. It has to be. Because I had level 1 shield originally because this build had 1100 health. But I've found that against most hunters, basically every single cyber hunter that isn't Alexey can't deal with this build. Alexey is the only one who actually bothers to think about the build instead of just mashing the massacre button and then expecting to win. Like, I haven't seen any other cyber hunter put any thought into this build except for him. And it shows because he's using a very different loadout than every other cyber hunter. And it's so much harder to deal with. It's unbelievable. Like, it's insane. Like, you have to play so much differently. And like, I spent like, what did we spend, like 30 minutes where I was just trying to figure out how to beat your build before I could actually do it regularly. And then all you would have to do is just change how you play it a little bit, and then you would start winning again. Just a PSA for everybody out there. Intimidate is really good, and you should be using it. And if you're not, you need to reconsider the math of that skill.
I second that as a cyber hunter.
Stronger.
When I get intimidated,
think about this.
Ugh.
Like, it takes away damage in a way that they can't do anything about. Like, here's the thing that people don't even consider. Let's say you've already considered that it's good value because you get damage, you get rage, and you actually lower a reasonable amount. It's like healing for 200 for 85, while you also deal a strike and you deal rage. But you also reduce the amount of rage they generate, because rage is based off of your damage output. If they deal less damage, they're not going to rage as fast. So there's all of these layers to this skill where it allows you to be offensive at the same time as being defensive at a good rate for both, and you generate rage, and you take away rage. Like, that, people just don't seem to get the power of something like that.
But Intimidate isn't always useful, that's the thing. the niche thing.
It doesn't matter. It's level 1. It's useful. All right. Well, here's an example. 70% of the matches or so I fight are cyber hunters, which means intimidate is useful 70% of the time, and even more because if I fight a strength TLM, it's probably another 5-6%.
But is it really worth
75% of the
sacrificing
time
like
it's useful.
like you could have used like another ability instead of intimidate, because it basically does the same
Yes,
damage
it's worth it.
as a strike, right?
It's very much worth it. Yeah.
What
it does
other
a strike.
skill would you think he would put there instead
No,
of
I mean, like,
intimidate?
I meant like he could instead use like a gun or auxiliary instead of basically striking an opponent.
So I can deal an extra 70 damage in exchange for taking an extra 300.
No, I'm
and
not
giving them
disagreeing
more
with you.
rage.
I'm just saying like you should. I'm just saying
Yeah.
like that's
No,
an
Intimidate's
argument you can
amazing.
make. You know, like you're pretty
No,
much
there's-
disproving me.
Intimidate is so good. Yeah, it's really good. Because even so, if they hit you 4 times, a level 1 Intimidate with a moderate amount of support will hit you for 255. They're unlikely to do that. One of their hits is going to be an Ox. So realistically, you're looking at a heal for about 190. If you slap that 190 on top of, let me just check what my damage would be. Let me get my beta staff on, get my gun on, Azrael, get my Thunder Reaper on. So my primary is like 436. So at the end of the day, it's valued at around 626 just in terms of the damage, not including the rage that you lost. So would you pay 85 mana to deal 626 damage before your stuff? Because that's basically like a plasma cannon, but it costs 85 instead of 130. In terms of the actual delta that it creates between your health and theirs by the end of the match.
See, I don't really think that deep into. You're very like you make your build like having everything in mind. Very nice. I wouldn't understand
Yeah,
the
it's just
math
I play the
behind
game
it.
a lot differently than a lot of people.
I don't
The
really.
only thing that I would,
Yeah, I don't
the
really
only thing
take
that
that
I
into
would,
consideration. Go on.
I said the only thing that I wouldn't really consider is the pyrofly reasoning. I haven't really quite seen that many pyroflies around. Maybe 20, 25 battles, maybe 30 even. And with that rate, and I don't really feel like it's that useful to have your skills be at that high of a level. Just maybe on a whiff that someone might have pyrofly. Now, if it was in 2v2, then
the only skills that are affected are the spare points. So the fireball and the overload are the only skills affected by the pyrofly tech. Everything else would be the same regardless. Like 5 reflex boost, 3 shield, 1 cannon, 1 supercharge, max parasite, and whatever. That's all the way it's supposed to be. So I just used the spare points that I wasn't going to use anyways, and
right.
put those to be as effective against pyrofly as I could. We've got Sfenic on with a strength build here.
I see.
This is gonna be rough. I don't know if I can get through 1500 health.
Yeah. Builds
Oh,
are
that's right.
a
You don't
little
have
bit-
underdog with you.
Yeah, in your rank 30, I believe it was.
I'm rank
I'm
130.
rank 5.
Yeah. It's a bit different. Yeah.
This is I was gonna buy the Azrael Ox specifically for this because I could use it like next turn, but now I can't. But it's fine.
Yikes.
Yeah. Right then. Do we have any predictions about who might win the gifting event? If anyone has anyone in mind.
I think it would be Bane, but apparently it's not, so I really don't know.
I'd have to go with Blaslow. I think he's not done buying Varium at all. I don't know, something about the guy. I'm just not convinced he is done. I think there is a whole lot
He's gonna
more
go
he
hard.
has. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna pull a cosmic, but look out for him to pull a cosmic. Like, I'm getting that vibe from him, and I don't even know him. So I mean, nobody can go back and be like, "Oh, Alexey said you're for sure gonna win." No, I don't even really know him like that. I just met him like
I don't think
2 or 3 days ago.
I don't think he's gonna win.
I don't know. I feel like he might. If not him, then probably Bane.
Okay. How about you,
Good game.
Sphenik? What would you choose?
Oh.
Don't do some bullshit.
That intimidate. GG.
Oh my god, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? Because I had no other defensive
Romanian.
options.
Don't
So-
think I've forgotten about you for gifting, bruh. I know you said you're not going to go hard,
125 rank difference.
but you are not forgotten.
All right then.
Everybody watching the stream
125
or
rank
the
difference,
video,
no underdog.
What's that, Alexey?
everybody that's watching the stream or going to be watching this video on YouTube, keep your eye on RomanianSanta right here on the gifting leaderboards. Keep your eye on him.
It's gonna come out of nowhere.
Oh man. Hey, Sphenik, who do you think might win this gifting event?
I vote Bane, but I'm not sure.
Bane?
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Xendran?
Who's gonna win to gifting?
Yeah.
I believe him. I believe in Blaslow. I think he's got it. I think I have a feeling.
All right.
You get that vibe from him too?
Yeah,
I just feel it.
I think he's up to something. Just because, like, I don't know, the way he talks and just everything, I feel it.
He has so much Artix points right now, but he seems sort of disinterested. And he never really talks about gifting like head on. Like if you ask him like, "Oh, are you going for it?" He's just going to say no, and it's going to be the end of the conversation. He's going to go for it.
I think he might just be playing it off a little bit cool, so when nobody gets the impression that he will be going for it, so he might be able to pull one of those cosmic.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly.
He said his budget was like $1,000 and not any higher.
What did Cosmic say?
Did he say anything?
Okay, so
he was
you
talking
say
about
that, but Blaslow showed a picture of his spare fund, which was about $6,000 that he says he can spend on whatever he wants. So if his budget is 1,000, that's a lie. His budget is 6,000 because he has that budgeted to be able to spend on whatever he wants.
Well, you also have to consider he probably uses that money for like Netflix and other things. So probably more realistically about 5,000.
I don't think so, man. I think that's spare. I think the Netflix and all that stuff comes from his main account. This seems like it's a completely separate fund.
I don't want anybody to
just like his bank account.
I don't want anybody to go like too personal with this because this is public, but I don't know if he's a teenager or an adult, but I figure he's somewhere in between like 17-ish to 21-ish. So if he has $6,000, I'm pretty sure he's likely willing to spend a little bit more than 1,000 if he really wants this.
Right.
He wants that statue. Like he's
a statue. Oh, good lord! He actually replied to my tweet, and he said that all he wants for first place is to place a chair inside of Central Station. Now, this is just a joke referring to how he won the house decorating contest with a chair in his house, just a plain chair.
I can't believe he did that, to be honest. How does that even happen?
And I feel like he wants to immortalize that in Central Station because that's where he's always hanging out. That's where everybody's hanging out nowadays. So he wants to immortalize him there, placing a chair, a simple chair. However, my guess is Gladiator Blitz. Just because I don't know, I'm that vibe from him, that vibe that you guys are getting from Blasto. That's what I'm getting from Gladiator Blitz. However, that is just not using the quote unquote knowledge that I acquired. Leave that private to myself. But that's the feeling that I'm getting. That is not to say that Blasto is definitely not going to be really, really high up.
Wait, didn't
Yeah.
Blitz win last year?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but
Damn.
I feel
The
like he's
prize
gotten
this year is a little bit better though.
It is, yeah, most
So-
definitely. However, it makes me actually question: is the prize for number one even worth it? Because you're basically getting, the only difference is you're not getting codes of that item. You're just getting one of it if you go for top 15.
I mean, the
Oh.
first place winner should at least give the code out to the other 15 players or 14 players under them.
Theoretically, yeah.
That just leaves us with like 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, arguably, because you're able to make all your friends and
You're cutting
happy.
out.
Am I? Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah.
I believe it's probably my recording. Guys. So yeah, definitely first prize is a really good prize in my opinion, and I really like what Night Wraith and quote, I don't know if Titan was involved with this, because this will definitely bring a lot more competitiveness from everyone in the community, and I think it's really.
You are cutting
Yeah,
out for me.
that was a complete cutout.
100% cut out.
Good lord! All right, I'm gonna see if I can connect.
Yikes.
We have no idea what you're saying, Mr. RomanianSanta, but we do love you dearly.
Is that all we wanted to cover?
Right, so I'm back. I actually stopped the video and I'm gonna make a part 2 because this has already been an hour and I believe 1 hour and 35 minutes, I believe.
For me,
So,
it's an hour and 27 on my stream.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what I was saying earlier, when you guys didn't catch it, is I really liked how Night Wraith and Titan, I believe, they might have worked on this together, but I really like how they decided to instead of create a definite prize, instead they decided to let the player base or player whoever won get to decide their own prize, and I feel like this will create a way bigger competitive side of EpicDuel that hasn't ever seen before. And I feel like we might be under predicting, however, how much, like how high the score will go. We may think will only go to like 400k gifts given, but I'm willing to bet it'll go over like 500, 600k easily.
I have to agree with you. I don't see how it's not going to go higher than 400. I see 500, 600, maybe even like 700.
You know,
It's going to be a record year.
Throughout the past, every year has only been going higher and higher, if you've noticed the trend. Like the first year was 167k gifts given, I believe.
Nemesis. Was it
And
Nemesis, right?
yeah, and then the following year, the next year was I believe 200 and something, 267, and then the next year was 370,000, and then who's to say that this year it's not going to be over 500, 600,000, like I said.
Especially with this new variant package, 35k for
Also,
20k
like, the
AP.
room limit, and plus apparently the gifting cost is down, so it should be a lot higher.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we'll see record numbers for sure.
I'm really hoping I'm able to grab one of those codes that the first place guy decides to make.
Right.
Anybody watching this video, slide your boy Alexey a code. I will love you dearly.
Yes, same here. Oh man. Right. So, do we have any following things to anything else that we want to say before we decide to cut it here?
Oh yeah, if you guys want to join my faction, just hit me up. Like it's pretty dead
Yeah.
right now. Like no one's
Oh man.
playing. So before the war.
Shout out to Divine Execution, killing 1v1
I'm
always.
back. What's
Oh,
the
okay.
current topic? I just had to pop out for a second.
RIP.
Basically, we were talking about the competitiveness that is going to come out of EpicDuel's gifting event this month, or next month, I should say, and how we might even exceed 500k gifts given, just based on the trends from the past giving gifts events.
I think that's pretty likely. I think that's very
Yeah.
likely.
Now, just to get your opinion on this, do you like what they did with the prize, giving the player to the choice to choose what prize they want?
No. Well,
What?
it's not the choice part that bothers me, but I don't think the prize pool is. I don't think that was a good idea. Because when I see that, I see we could have created a new reward suite of prizes that are specifically for the top 15. For example, 15th to 10th place gets this armor, and then 10th to 5th place gets the armor plus this cool weapon or whatever, and then 5th to 2nd place get the armor and a weapon, and then maybe like an emote. And then 1st place gets the armor, the weapon, an emote, a colored name, and then maybe like a custom skin of their choice for an armor or something like that. But I really don't like that instead of doing something, they're just like, oh, here, we'll just sell you all this stuff that we promised to never return to the game. And in addition, we're going to give you the option to become objectively stronger than other players. Those seem like
Now,
literally the two worst possible options that they could have picked out of anything. Like, I guess that the people who are
Xendran,
gonna get the things like it, but
he sort of opened my eyes a little bit with what he said. Um, but it's sort of steering a tad bit off of what he said. I foresee a little bit more corruption in the ED community because of this. I know we joked about it earlier, but what if first place actually does go out and try to sell the codes to people? Or what if the first place person is just out of spite gives it to nobody? Like people are going to be begging, asking. Deals might be made.
More toxic, in a way.
It could. I'm not saying it will, but it potentially could.
And here's the
depending
thing:
on whoever wins.
If what I think is going to happen with bots does happen, where somebody makes a really busted bot because it fits in the rules, think about how many people are going to complain because now they literally can't beat this player because they have objectively stronger gear again.
It's not even that they can't beat it; it's just that they can't have the same weapon as this player and like same opportunity as pretty much. Because even if they can beat it, they're just like.
This is the reason I say the game can't revive itself because this game is horrible to new players. It's got the worst new player experience of any game I've ever played in my life. It's the worst. Even if the level cap is reasonable to achieve now and to get gear, you just literally can't access the vast majority of skills that you could use. Like, what are you going to do if you want a 2v2 and you don't have Azrael and it's April? You literally can't do it until you wait a year. Like, you just
That's
can't
so
do
true.
without getting completely destroyed. It's just, you don't have that choice.
I just got Azrael's this year.
Game completed. Yeah,
and it probably changes your outlook on 1v1 quite differently and drastically, and probably bumped up your win ratio significantly.
Man, before I got Azrael's this year, I had to strictly use a Tech Mage strength build, and I could not do anything. I couldn't go focus. I wanted to go Bounty Hunter focus, could not do that. All of my friends in the faction were all 5 focus and winning up the boards really fast, and then there was me. like the last strength tech mage, winning slower
And
than
here's
them.
the thing: is they could keep that specific core with its artwork and name exclusive. Why not just make a really basic version with basic animation and call it Forced Strike? But if you want the rare, pretty, flashy version, then you get the Azrael one. But if you don't want to spend the extra to get the flashier version, you can just have the basic Forced Strike core. That makes lots of sense. People still pay for the Azrael version, especially since how iconic the Azrael gear is now. People will pay for it even if they have the Forced Strike core. It's because it's like an upgrade to them. Okay, I have the same thing, but it's flashier now. It looks better, and I have more status. My character has progressed a bit more without literally preventing people from accessing an entire game mode for potentially up to 11 months.
One thing that I'd like to show you guys is a tweet by Your Menace, who replied to my tweet asking, what would you choose? Now, I posted in the main chat, and it just simply says, this might be a little selfish, but a personal vendor which has every item, whether it be a weapon, a vehicle, etc., purchasable only by you for a fair price. Now, I sort of like this idea because it kind of negates this this whole waiting game. Deciding like, man, should I really buy Varium now, and should I buy this core now, or should I just wait? This will completely negate that because it will kind of be available to you whenever you kind of need it. Now, granted, this will never happen because this will be too broken, quote unquote broken. But I feel like this would bring a lot more competitiveness to the meta because everybody would have a same and equal chance, and I don't know, people would be kind of complaining, and this could even be an actual package per se, or something viable like this vendor. And I don't know, I would definitely buy it in a heartbeat because there's been times when I really wanted the Azrael's Will on a gun, and I have to wait till February or till January before I'm able to get it, and I'm like, darn, that's a whole year of my life that I gotta wait to grab this stupid core, before it becomes before I'm able to actually
Now
use.
imagine if that was the entire game, and that's what new players feel like, because basically everything. Oh, you need the Azrael core, too bad. You need Carthrax core, too bad. You need the Pirate Bot, too bad.
You need all of it.
Pyroflag, too bad.
You have to wait a year to be able to compete.
Yeah, let's see. You need the Azrael Ox, too bad. Like, it's just that's what it says. So it just basically says here, you could play this game, but instead, how about we make it so you can't? And by the time you can, you've completely forgotten that the game exists because you're playing a game like Hearthstone or Fortnite.
Exactly. So that's one thing I really like. I really like that suggestion. However, it probably won't happen. But I feel like it's something really noteworthy, and it kind of ties into what you guys were saying earlier. Like, hey, I wasn't really good enough for 1v1 when it came without the Azrael gun. That's what Alexey was saying. But I definitely agree with Your Menace there. And I guess it'd be something similar to the buyback shop, but it'd just kind of be a really big shop. Yeah.
I really like the buyback shop. Like, that's absolutely something I think is a great idea. It needed to be in the game.
Best idea I've seen, like, in the last few years, for
Most
sure.
Definitely.
It's because it actually takes the game and introduces something that's modern to it, where it actually is like good to the players. And it's like EpicDuel is just not known for respecting people's time or money, to be quite honest with you. And so when it finally does, it's like, oh my god, this is the best thing that's ever been introduced into the game in years.
Right.
It's something that gives you a little bit more respect in terms of the money that you've previously already spent on the game.
Right, and to even further elaborate on Your Menace's tweet, it doesn't even have to be like very rare items. It could just be the seasonal rare items, those cores, those weapons. I feel like that would be a really good thing for EpicDuel, just because I know we all feel it. EpicDuel is slowly, I don't know if it's slowly, but it's most definitely quote unquote dying. So I feel like
This game is dead. Look, if a game loses
Basically dead,
95% of its player base, do you think that it's not dead? You see the same players every single day, day in and day out. Which
I feel like
the
that's also
epitome
like
of
the
what a
charm of
dead
this
game
game.
is.
I think it's
Hmm.
also like a charm. Because you
I
basically
will
know
s-
everyone in the game right now and kind of like a
that's
pretty
true.
tight community.
Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
gonna say that.
even when there was like 3,000 players, I knew everybody in the game. It's just instead of having 10 active buddies online, you'd have maybe 80 active buddies online.
It's true.
Like,
Yeah.
you could still get to know the community. It was still, especially if you interact with the forums or what would now be the Discord. Like, you can still have a tight knit community without having 100, 200 people. Because like back when the game had 2,000 people like online at any given time, you would still know. You'd log in and you'd see that, oh, Barney is online, Arcanist is online, Angel's Holocaust is online, Beast Mo, Clutch, all these people, and you would know it all. Like, I have 100 out of 100 buddy list, and I recognize every single name on that list,
Wow.
and they're all from beta.
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh man. The
And this game has a lot of
nostalgia.
potential too. Like, this game has the potential to do so many things with the systems that exist, but it's been afraid to do radical changes and instead aims to fix existing systems by adding to it. Because there was a time when there was no focus, there was no robots at all. There was a time when there was no rage. Because there's such a good story as to the way EpicDuel makes design decisions. So back in the day, before there was rage and before there were auxiliaries, when the level cap was 25, tank builds were ridiculous. You just could not deal damage to them. This, to me, if you see something like that, the devs knew it was broken. Now, if you see something like that where defense and resistance are broken, you would think, okay, maybe we should change how defense and resistance work. But instead, they add a new system on top of the game called Rage to help mitigate it. And what happens is naturally, eventually, rage gets broken to the point where you generate so much rage by stacking all of your stats onto one stat point and dealing so much damage that even when it gets mitigated, you just break their defense anyways. So how do they have to fix that? They don't look at rage and consider removing it and fixing defense. They go another step and they add focus. Now, what happens with focus? You either need to be 5 focus or you need to have 1,500 in today's equivalents health. Now, when you see that, it's two things. You could either think, okay, maybe focus wasn't the right thing, or you could think maybe we add another system. What do? They add another system called agility, which punishes your defense and resist for having too much health. This kind of multi-layered thing that all just stemmed from the fact that defense and resistance reduce a set amount of damage instead of a percent. And because of that, you have like 4 different systems that all got introduced and modified and tweaked. Then some of them got removed, and then some of them got nerfed and buffed, and it's just a mess. And all of that stemmed from one thing. And that's just kind of the way EpicDuel works. And it's this game has so much potential, but when that happens, it's why you've seen this 95% decrease in the player base from 2,000 to about 100. Because there's just too much happening that breaks all the time. And then minor changes cause more things to break because of how many systems are just getting layered on top of each other, that everything becomes so sensitive to changes that you can't change something drastically without completely ruining one of the battle modes. Jug is a good example of this. Jug has been impossible to balance. It's either insanely easy or unwinnably hard, and they've never had anything else in those 2 states.
Exactly. That's why most players nowadays, they just play 1v1 or just simply Juggernaut if they don't really have anything else to do. We just put on a movie and just kind of play in the background, basically. And
yeah, and it's like, I'm not trying to trash the game either, because like if I didn't like the game and its ideas and stuff, I wouldn't sit here and actually care enough to think about any of this. So the game has all these great ideas, but then the way they get executed, it's just like, people are not going to like that, and then players leave, and it's like, I told you people weren't going to like that, and then this same thing happened with passives. I'm like, no, people are not going to like this. You should make it a separate.
I don't know why they did that.
But then they replaced passives with the energy skills, and what do you know? People didn't like it, and more people left. And it's just on and on and on like this. And now there's actually been some. I think the game right now is not in a bad place, to be honest. I think the class balance outside of tech mage and mercenary are weak. They have their niches, but I think overall they could use a bit more. I think the rest of the classes are actually really well balanced against each other. I think Massacre being overpowered is good for the game, to be quite honest, because that's what that skill is supposed to do. And if you want to deal with it, you should counter it because it's absolutely counterable. And you need things to be pushed. That's why shields heal you for so much more damage than a skill that costs that much energy would ever deal. If I heal for
Right.
200, or if I shield for 200, that's 600 with no scaling, and I spent like 100 energy on it. No skill does that. But that's because things need to be pushed and then have really pushed answers in exchange. And then it becomes a game of timing where you want to use your skills on the right turn instead of just, I don't know, people get really caught up on symmetrical balance, and then you end up with a class like Mercenary.
What would you guys say if they just added the blue, introduced 3 new classes on top of these 6 that already exist? How would you guys
I had
react?
a big thread. I had a big thread where I recommended this actually. Yeah, I'm curious. I will show you.
I'd be planning my retirement.
Yeah. If it was just
Wait.
one class at a time, that makes sense. But 3 class
Well,
randomly, that just too much.
This game's already, to me, it's not finished with these 6 classes we have. I don't think stacking 3 more classes would be good. 1 class, I think, would be, manageable. And then maybe down the line, the other 2. But
I'm going to link something to you guys. Now, this was made back when the game was very different. So a lot of these numbers are going to look a little weird. But there's a lot of room for this game to grow. I honestly think that we could add another 3 skills to every class, and that would be fine. As well as add 3 more classes that have that increased skill count, to be honest. But that would be so much work. But, like, there's a lot of... It is very long. This post is reworks of all 3 classes, including 3 new skills for all 3 classes, as well as new class that has 16 skills each. So it's a long post.
Jeez. This is insane.
There's not really any better way to format it, my man.
It's a really long post.
Oh my god.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want us to read this?
No, I'm not asking you to read it. I'm just saying this is an example of, like, there's definitely room for more skills and classes and stuff. There's a lot of ideas in here that you could use.
I've never gone that in depth, but I have suggested in the past. I'd like to see, like, each current of the 6 classes, they have like a subclass where there's maybe 3 skills that are slightly different that you can choose from, and you can alter between the 2 subclasses.
Yeah.
And it's not, counted as a whole class change where you got to spend 25K. But that was a whole different suggestion.
I mean, I really would like to see some of these. Like, there's a skill here called Dark Matter that's just an alternative way of looking at a debuff where you coat your weapon and it ignores resistances for a number of turns. Like, that's something that I think there should just be more variety in how different skills are applied.
Interesting.
And, like, there's an active version of Reroute. Because, I mean, why not? Why not just give yourself Reroute for, like, 5 turns in exchange for, like, wasting a turn? There's all kinds of things that they could potentially do.
Well, right now it's only Night Wraith really working on this stuff, and he doesn't really have the ability to create these type of things that you're kind of describing.
Definitely not. No, this stuff that I described, this was stuff I was looking at like 4 years ago.
Right.
Definitely wouldn't be able to be put in the game now. There's just not.
This has got to be able to. You got to be able to have the whole team. The whole EpicDuel team in order to kind of create this kind of thing that you're describing here.
This is a fun skill. Strike the enemy dealing no damage and granting you a percentage of their max HP. That'd be a funny skill to see.
Rest in peace, people with a lot of strength and health.
Yeah.
Right then.
Just heal
Yeah.
for 500 for 0.
Not a bad skill right there. Yeah,
Definitely
I've actually been wanting another class because all these classes have sort of become quote unquote stale for me, if that makes sense. Because I've played every class,
Yeah.
I've experienced all of the builds, well, almost all of the builds. I don't know. I'd like to think I've experienced all of them, and I don't know. I just like to be able to experience some sort of new content. Like I remember in Delta. When these classes, when Cyber Hunter and Blood Mage was introduced, man, and Tactical Mercenary with the smoke screen at first, I was just,
And reroute.
I was
It was so much fun. Like
oh
it was
man,
really fun.
the amount of fun I had, I was like, oh my lord, this is amazing. And the Cyber Hunter Massacre builds that came out of it as well, I was like, and the Blood Mage strength builds, good lord, the
With the
amount of
best
fun.
weapons.
Yeah, the amount of fun was, I'd like to think, was almost endless. But of course, they had to significantly get nerfed down. All of everything just had to get nerfed. They had to cut the fun factor down to like one third of that, maybe 1/5 of that, and basically it became really stale after that. And you're like, oh, I got to use a freaking tank build. I got to use a dex build. Oh, it's a support build, and they've just been really common nowadays, you know. And you're like, oh, it's another Cyber Hunter. Oh, it's
Back
another
then, also,
Mage.
more
Exactly.
people
I
were willing
agree.
to experiment with their build, so it was like a lot of variety, and you didn't really expect like a specific build from a specific class. So it wasn't like you had to
Exactly.
counter
Yeah.
everyone.
Actually-
you just played your own build.
Something you mentioned, the subclass idea. Something that I'll actually, with those 3 new classes that I suggested, is none of them have field medic. They all actually have an alternative way to heal that isn't field medic, and I feel like that's something that could be interesting. Is having classes that don't have that skill. Like there's one here, the Wraith. Instead of field medic, you generate a shield that absorbs an amount of damage. It would basically absorb the same amount of damage that a field medic would, but it also harasses the opponent's energy for doing it. Like there's just all kinds of alternative ways of
I
healing.
mean,
that
how
could be
how would
interesting.
how would that even be viable against an NPC like Night Wraith, legendary Night Wraith, even?
It wouldn't at all.
Exactly.
Just like already 5 out of 6 classes aren't viable against it. So what's the difference?
Exactly. And I feel like there's a pretty big major flaw in the game at the moment.
That's a valid point. These
yeah.
legendary bosses should be beatable by every class.
I don't even think it's a flaw in the game, to be honest. I just think that the game is not built for PvE content because it's a PvP game.
Right.
So of course the PvE content's going to break in half because that's not what the classes are built around.
You know, I'd like to note something. Originally, I believe it was Night Wraith, or I believe it was Titan. They both cited that these new classes, Blood Mage, Cyber Hunter, and Tactical Mercenaries, their original skills, for instance, Blood Mage, their supercharge, it was going to be a different skill, but they didn't have enough time on their hands, so they just had to slap on a pre-existing skill from a different class, aka Mage. They just slapped that on there, and they're like, "Yep, it'll do for now. Hopefully, we have time to fix that and make it better." But lo and behold, they haven't.
I remember that as well because I remember they had us expecting that it was going to change, and it never did.
Yeah, and same with all the other classes. Massacre for Cyber Hunter, Surgical Strike for Tactical Mercenary. You know, I really like the poison idea for the toxic grenade. That was a pretty cool idea and a pretty neat change. But anyway, I think that was originally there, wasn't it? Anyway,
they were supposed to have they were supposed to have different ultimates, but then they just never added them.
Right. And I feel like that's where kind of the game fell short. And but however, it was still really fun because we got still to experiment with these new combinations of skills, like with Mark of Blood on Blood Mage, and even with Bludgeon, if you guys
Mark of
remember
Blood
that
didn't
build.
exist when Blood Mage came out. When
Oh
Blood
yeah,
Mage
it
came out,
was
it was
the
Bloodlust.
passive. It was Bloodlust. Yeah, it was passive. I remember. Yeah, but that was only for a short while until yeah, it was
Actually,
gone.
yeah, didn't Blood Mage have Bloodlust and Reroute? Is that right?
I believe so. What didn't it?
I think
Yeah,
it
that was
did.
insane.
Yeah, I think it did.
Did have a reroute. I know at least they did.
Bloodlust and Reroute.
Oh wait,
Oh my
didn't
god.
didn't they
They also had Bloodlust, I'm pretty sure.
didn't they have the I forgot what it's called now because it's been so long, but that mage ability to buff your gun's damage.
The
Just
Deadly aim.
Deadly Sight
Deadly
or
aim.
Deadly Aim.
Yes.
Is that what it was? Was it? Oh, was it Bloodlust and Deadly Aim then? Okay.
Yeah, it was
I think
it was
Bloodlust,
deadly aim.
Deadly Aim.
They didn't have reroute. Bloodlust was enough for them, just like Bounty Hunter. So
Yeah. Bloodlust and Deadly Aim.
I still feel like if they change that up now, like some new skills to the classes, I feel like that might bring back a certain amount of the player base, or just even make it funner for the current player base, to enjoy the game even more. And yeah, that's what I've been kind of thinking about.
Have you guys noticed Jenna in the voice call the whole time?
No, I think she just joined like a few moments ago and she just left.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you guys. So right now we know that the meta consists of a lot of cyber hunters on this massacre build. What have you guys found to be the most effective counters for this build?
Strength tactical mercenary. By far, you will win every single time.
Thank you.
Oh, or just even probably strength mage would probably be a good idea against them.
Is there a really?
I don't know about that. I kill all of them. Like any
lost-
strength.
You lost.
I haven't
against
really
my
seen
support
any.
build.
There were like a few strength tech mages when I first came back because the Cyber Hunter mass build wasn't really as widespread. I apologize for helping spread it, but yeah, it was a lot of strength tech mages. There was like tech support. I think they were using. I was killing them. And then strength blood mages. Now they've been buffed a
If you're
little
gonna
bit,
go
but I still kill
support
them.
on a tech mage, why wouldn't you go tech support? Because then you can like Ox, Plasma Bolt, Bot. No, I guess you would Bolt, Ox, Bot, Plasma Bolt like second time. Like you could do insane DPS with tech support, but strength support you would lose all that defense. I could understand.
Yeah,
I understand
strength
pure
support.
strength,
They were
and
too squishy.
I think Cyber Hunter is the only class that can really do strength support properly, and it's because of. It's honestly mainly because of first turn. That seems like the big reason that support's in this build in the first place is the first turn, because it makes so much difference. It's unbelievable. And I think a lot of cyber hunters don't realize that, and they try to skimp out on their support, and they lose because of it.
Actually, I've skimped out on support, but I've traded it for health. And I've actually beaten all the cyber hunters. I don't know if Alexey remembers when I did that.
I remember that. That was very AIDS. He had a 1,000
Yeah, I think that's the
HP
one way you
build.
could do that.
Yeah, and you're like,
And-
oh my
Yeah,
god, please stop.
Yeah, I think that's the only stat you could trade it out for. Is
And
you could
I
only trade it out for
countered.
health.
I countered every single cyber hunter build out there, even the original creator of the build with the super high health. I don't actually remember his name, but he was just like, you know what? I'm going to go high health because I don't have all these weapons, these fancy weapons that these guys have, but I have something called Shadow Arts, and that got nerfed to hell a little bit because of that build. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. And they're like, you know what? Wow, that's pretty OP. But it's still viable, though. It's still very viable. It's just about 5% difference. That's basically it.
Yeah, the build still works. I used it before, and it definitely if you're looking for a high percentage cyber mass build, that's probably one of the best, if not the best, percentage massacre build. Speed is a little bit slower though, because you got to play more defensive.
Right.
With the Shadow Arts nerf.
So what I've found is that the high tech Blood Mage fully counters it, but the higher you put your tech, the worse you start doing against 5 focus hunters, and they are the second most common build that I'm seeing at the moment this week. So I've sort of made the Blood Mage build less of a Cyber Hunter counter, where you actually have to play really well against them instead of just auto winning. But in exchange, it's able to beat a Focus Hunter now. So from what I'm seeing, it looks like the Strength Tactical Mercenary, and then this level 1 Plasma Cannon Blood Mage are probably, it's where the meta is heading, because I'm seeing a lot of people are moving over to Tac Mercs into Blood Mages lately. A lot of people who were Cyber Hunters before as well.
This keep in mind, this is also in part because of the new bosses, Legendary Night Wraith and Nightmare Night Wraith. You can't really fight either as a Cyber Hunter. I changed to Blood Mage temporarily. Yeah, I changed just so I could try to help my friend Splits with Nightmare Night Wraith. We lost, by the way. We got melted. But yeah. So like people got to keep that in mind. I know Lazy Cat in my faction, everybody knows he was a Cyber Hunter. He's now a tactical mercenary because he was fighting bosses as well. So
I saw him doing 2v2s.
Yeah.
Still doing them, I think.
But yeah, so
and a lot of them are stuck.
What I'm wondering is where do we think the meta is headed now that people know how to counter this build? Because the meta seemed like it was kind of stuck because people just didn't want to counter it, because they just wanted to beat it with their build instead of making a different build. But now that we know there's like many builds that can beat this build,
Well,
where do we think the meta's headed? Which of those builds do we think has the highest win rate against other builds as well, and where we think the meta is going to go from here?
Well, I think it's gonna be really unpredictable considering how Night Wraith, like every other week there's like a balance change. So it's I don't think you can just tell where the meta's gonna go. Someone's probably gonna make up a random build and it's just gonna work for some reason.
I have a very good idea. It's something that hasn't been touched nor talked about, but I know it is overpowered. And
do not spoil it.
Okay.
What?
Actually, you can go ahead. I don't care.
I was gonna say what you.
And you guys know this build. 2 full Hundens. That's like a tech spam mercenary build, not a tactical, just a regular mercenary. That
I've
build
used it before.
went crazy. High percentage. It's faster than most cyber. I used to be at my peak with cyber mass builds. I'd be at like 25, 33 wins an hour, and 4 hours in, I'll probably have like 100 wins on the leaderboard. He would have been hit 100 at like an hour ahead of me. I kid you not. 3 hours, 3.5 hours, he's at 100. He's over here. He PMs me. See ya, bud. Yeah, even less.
It's literally, it's the same reason the Blood Mage is good, because Bunker Buster is just physical plasma cannon, and we know that level 1 cannon is busted. So,
yep, he used a low bunker too.
Oh yeah, I actually told him at first he was using level 4 bunker, and I was like, hey, you could probably use a level 2 or level even 3 bunker buster if you wanted to with a massive strike. He wasn't using massive strike at the time, but I told him, hey, use massive strike because you ignore an extra 10% on top of whatever the critical strike ignores. And he's like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And then his win percentage increased significantly because of that, due to the extra damage he was dealing. It turned out to be pretty significant.
I couldn't kill him at all, even with the Omega weapons, the Azrael board. It didn't matter.
Also, this is a kind of a point of contention for me. Is one of the reasons that build is better than, in my opinion, against the field and the Blood Mage build, is because for some reason, Surgical Strike and Supercharge deal the same damage, but Surgical Strike also gets rage reduction. I don't think whoever made Supercharge considered the fact that the 30% pierce, all it does is give it the same damage as Surgical Strike because the base is a lot lower. It doesn't put it on par with it. It makes it's literally just Surgical Strike, except you don't reduce the rage. That's all Supercharge is. Like, it's
See,
terrible,
now
but
that's
you
sort
need
of.
to use it.
I've never really understood why Supercharge gets that sort of buff, because Massacre, Supercharge, and Surgical Strike, all three of them have the potential to do, like, if it's a powerful one, they'll hit you for like anywhere between 500 and 700 damage. Massacre maybe a little bit more sometimes, if you're not properly defended. Now, with them getting the rage taken away from Surgical Strike, I've always wondered, like, why do they get that extra buff with the same lifesteal as Massacre and
Also,
Surgical?
you want to know something that's even worse? So here's the thing: if you use these skills off of rage, you will get more rage for using Surgical Strike because it deals more damage and hits into more resistance. You get double whammy for less rage on Supercharge because not only is the total damage output lower, so you can't get as much back, but you also are reducing their resistances, which reduces the amount of rage you get. So if you rage into Supercharge or rage into Surgical, then if you rage and then you Surgical Strike, you're probably going to have a full rage bar again next turn. But if you do that with Surgical Strike, you're not even going to have half. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And that's what makes it a really powerful move.
Less. Surgical Strike costs less energy too, and it's so much stronger.
I think there's a reason for that.
Like,
as well.
What's half a rage worth?
Yeah,
like,
it's likely because
like a quarter of their defense.
It's likely because mercenaries don't really have much else. They have bunker, they have surgical, and I mean blood commander. I know they have. Blood
commander is really good, dude.
Wait, do mercs have blood, or is that tactical?
No,
mercs have blood commander. You ever gotten hit by
that's a really
blood
good
commander? Double strike Maul? That's a good one. Or the Ox multi blood commander berserker, that's a good one too.
Yeah, it sucks that it's not really
to get rid of their blood
high
commander,
percentage builds, but
I think honestly, I would rather that they make. I think they should just make Supercharge a bit better. Because I don't mind Surgical Strike being as strong as it is. I just don't get why Supercharge is so much worse.
I don't know if you were here at the time, but they tinkered with Supercharge, and basically people were doing over 1,000 damage with I want to say basically whatever we have right now with that amount of tech, doing over 1,000 damage. And these guys were setting record hits. Like, if you scroll back on Twitter long enough, you'll be able to find them. These people posting like 1,200 damage, 1,300. That's a ton of damage right there. And they could probably even go higher than that with the right equipment. Now, they try to touch it.
That's why they probably shouldn't.
and this made mages and blood mages insane in the meta. Just for even a week. I think it was available, this build was available for only a week before they nerfed it hard. And then they also had to nerf the mage's main plasma bolt. They had to nerf that a little bit because that was a bit too OP. And basically now it's sort of at a stalemate again, basically from point one where they started. They're like, wow, we probably should not have touched this.
Now, Xendran, were you playing during that time?
No, but I know exactly
would have
what that
loved
would be like.
it.
I don't know if I would have loved it. I mean, I probably would have won a lot with it, but I would have been like, this should be deleted from the game.
Bro, I was actually a caster tech mage. I have never been a caster tech mage in my life. I was a caster tech mage for that week.
It was pretty fun, not to say the least.
When was this specifically? I don't remember this.
August, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Quite honest, like every other skill has something particularly scary about it. Massacre does insane damage with no investment, which is really scary. Surgical Strike can remove your rage and give it to them because that's scary because you're going to take like 600 damage 2 turns in a row. You know, when I think of tech mage or mages and scary, I think of energy burn. I think of like I supercharge you and I burn you for like 30% damage as energy, like 200 energy if I hit a 600 on you. To be honest, it might be like super busted, but that's like the direction I'd probably go. Like a mana burn effect, because it's something scary. It's like as scary as losing your rage and then getting rage.
That's a good idea.
Okay, I was gonna heal, but then I got supercharged for 200 energy and 500 damage. Like, it would definitely need some numbers tweaks to find the right amount of mana burn, but that's definitely where I would take the skill.
That's what everything's been heading up to right now, even with these sort of new weapons. You know, the ghoulish gear. That's all energy centered around, aside from the guns. But that's what it's all centered around. And I'm willing to bet that these new wolf weapons are going to be centered around energy as well, one way or another.
Yeah, and I especially would do the energy burn thing, considering you get hit twice for reduced rage compared to both of the other skills. Like defense that much resistance ignore is actually a downside compared to the skill just having the higher damage instead. It's not enough. Even though it's technically better against tanks, the damage is so high that it just becomes a downside.
Do we have any comments from the stream? I don't know if any people are watching.
No,
people are just sort of watching and listening.
Oh, they're just kind of sort of
most
listening.
people just left.
Oh, most people
really
left.
Late.
We've
it's like
been boring.
4:30 in the morning.
It is. Yeah,
There's
we
still a
probably
couple
should
of
have chosen a
people
better
watching.
time. Yeah, but I don't.
It's 8 p.m. here in Australia.
Oh,
3:30 a.m. here.
4:30 over here.
Yeah, but overall, guys, I'm actually really looking forward to this gifting event. Granted, I think the community is going to become 100 times more toxic. Gift my
It's
please.
going to be AIDS, but I'm ready for it.
I'm also looking forward to it because it makes it more lively, and you just feel like even if it's toxic, it's fun to be around.
Yeah, because you know it's not going to be there forever, so you gotta get it while it lasts. Am I right?
We need to make bets on how many SHT BCH we see in the chat.
The sad part is I have
see how many SHT BCH we get.
I have an SAT test coming up, so it's gonna be like.
That'll be fun.
Oh man,
it's gonna be on your phone, being like, "Oh, I gotta get this gift."
I'm hoping they change the room size last minute to like 175 or 200. That would probably be honestly the best thing they would ever do.
That would break the game.
It's already sort of breaking the game with 150.
Yeah,
man,
what's another 25 or 50?
Why don't they just make the room limit 200, and then once it gets past 100, it just automatically hides players for people.
Exactly, they can easily do that. It's just a simple if statement. Oh my god, just from a programming standpoint of view.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Anyway.
It would be not necessarily an if. You do it would be a for loop, but I don't need to get into that. But at its core, it's just an if statement. You would just write it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm actually willing to end it here because it's been basically almost 3 hours, getting close to it.
2 hours and 15 minutes so far.
Oh yeah, getting close to that 2.5 hour mark. Yeah, man, I have not talked about EpicDuel for that long in a long time.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to clean up the initial video a little bit, and maybe even add like a few bookmarks in the description, just so people can get quick links to what we're talking about and what they're interested in.
Romanian, you should download the video from my stream for a better quality, just because you recorded with Bandicam, didn't you? And it has a watermark. It has a watermark on it.
No, I have the pro version.
Oh, my bad. Oh yeah, but like it's on my stream if you ever need anything.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh yeah, do you guys wanna say anything, like some goodbyes to the video or to the stream or whatever?
Shout out to Divine.
Shepherd's divine. Yeah.
For my
Shout
final
out.
words, be open to drastic change, please, or the game will not grow again. That's all I have to say. Just please consider that big things that you're not comfortable with are sometimes what's necessary. Like removing enhancements, just like removing legendary.
Yeah.
Hashtag remove ranks.
Ranks. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. If you've made it this far, I applaud you. It was a long journey, but I feel like it was one that it was very much worth it to discuss. I've gained some
Very
new
informative.
insights. Oh yeah, some new insight, and it was also very informative. And I'd like to thank you guys, you three, for joining me, and whoever else was watching and joined us in this room. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. And hopefully we might even be able to do this again one day.
Fun times.
That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'd be
I'm
down for it.
available. You just gotta hit me up.
I'd be down.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.
Just shout out to 9
Have a good one,
viewers.
guys.
All right, I cut the video there, guys.